Well, we're going to go ahead and start making filling for the crepes. I'm going to start off with some butter. Put about 2 tablespoons of butter in here. Also going to put some brown sugar. Put a couple tablespoons of that also. That's closer to 3 tablespoons each. Don't like it, so you put a little bit more. Now we'll get the cream cheese. It's better to always let this cream cheese kind of get to room temperature. It helps it break down in here a little bit easier. And that's a half, 4 ounces of cream cheese in there. Half a brick. If you hadn't ever tried adding cream cheese to stuff, man, it sure is a wonderful thing. Look what it does for those cakes. And this is easy enough to make too. It's really a quick dessert. Stir this chicken around a little bit more. The onions are all getting real tender. The cream cheese is breaking down nicely. I add just a little bit more butter just because we really do like the buttery flavor it gives it. Don't worry if all the cream cheese doesn't break down real smooth, you can whisk it in there a little bit, but the little hunks of cream cheese actually gives it a real burst of flavor. You can see how it's all getting incorporated now. This is a really quick dessert, and I say Frenchmen were real impressed with it. Yeah, I knew I was on to something, and I've served quite a few people, and they got the same opinion. What we've got to do is top it off with a little bit of whipping cream. And we'll let this simmer up a little bit, and I'm going to get those bananas where they can sit in there. Get these bananas and cut them up quick. I've done this a couple of different ways. I've split the bananas long ways, but I think the rings make it a little bit easier to serve. You can see how quick all this comes together. When you go out to a restaurant, it takes you longer to get a glass of water than it does to make up a dessert like this at times. It's all smoothed out real nicely. I'll go ahead and move this to the back burner. You can see all that cream cheese kind of got dissolved in there. I probably could put another banana or two, but we're just doing this for the demonstration right now. Even though the crepe batter has got some butter in it. I always like to add just a little bit more butter. I'm gonna make my crepes. That's one thing, you want to go ahead and get your pan hot enough before you put that batter in there so that, that the crepes cook a little bit faster. They tend, putting this little extra butter in there, they tend to not want to stick in the pan. Let's stir this chicken a little bit. Using these boneless, skinless thighs, this really does cook up quickly, and the thing of it is too is we're going to go and finish this off in a skillet with a little teriyaki basting sauce, or teriyaki sauce rather, and also some sesame seeds, and that's going to be the meat portion of it. And for the vegetables, I'm going to end up using there was some leftover asparagus. Put some asparagus tips in there, and also some mixed vegetables, just frozen mixed vegetables. Heat a little bit hotter. Usually mess up the first crepe, and then that way the cook gets to taste it. This chicken's just about to that point now. We're going to go ahead and take it off, or move it rather. We're going to end up moving this chicken in the skillet back here. I'm going to fry this out a little bit, get some caramelization on it. Don't worry about those little pieces of chicken that broke off in here either, because that's going to end up going into the risotto. Just teriyaki sauce on it. Only other thing is going to be a little bit of my spice. This is a good all-around spice. There's no fillers in it. There's no additives. You can see this is just some leftover rice from the day before. And once it gets like that, a lot of people don't really know what to, you don't really want to throw it out. And there's not too many ways of going and reusing it, so I came up with this idea. Now, if you don't have leftover rice to do this with, you can just take your rice, put it in here, and get it to boiling. The crepe is just about ready to be flipped over here. Do it with my hands. Use a little spatula or fork or something. I want to get a little bit of color on that other side. This rice is going to need to boil in here about 2 minutes. It'll loosen it all up, and by the time it gets through, it'll be just like a risotto that took you 30 minutes to cook.